Hello my friends, Dr. Mandell here. Today, I'm going to show you one single food that carries over 700 milligrams of magnesium per serving, almost double what most adults need in an entire day. And if you've been struggling with muscle weakness, leg cramps, low energy, or slow recovery, this one food can make a tremendous difference, because low magnesium is one of the most overlooked causes of muscle fatigue and loss of strength, especially as we age. And the food is when your legs suddenly lock in the middle of the night, when a muscle twists so violently that it pulls you out of sleep, when you find yourself grabbing your calf or your foot because the pain feels like it's tearing through the muscle fiber. There is always a reason. These cramps are not random. They're not just aging. They're not simply dehydration. In many cases, they are a silent signal, a final warning. From one mineral your body has been desperately trying to hold on to, magnesium. And what most people don't know is that low magnesium is one of the most common nutrient deficiencies in the world. Up to 70% of adults are not getting enough. And when levels drop even slightly, your muscles start to misfire like an engine that's running out of fuel. Every contraction becomes unstable. Every release becomes incomplete. Your nerves begin sending chaotic electrical impulses. And your muscles, especially those in the legs, can clamp down with a force that can stop you in your tracks. Scientists explain this with something called neuromuscular hyperexcitability. When magnesium is low, the calcium inside your muscles becomes unbalanced. Calcium causes contraction. Magnesium causes relaxation. When calcium starts dominating because magnesium is missing, the muscles become trapped in a constant state of tension. The harder they contract, the harder they cramp. That's why people with low magnesium often feel their legs tightening just from standing, walking, or climbing stairs. The muscles are working against themselves, and this is where pumpkin seeds, this simple, natural food, becomes so important. Because within these tiny seeds lies one of nature's richest reservoirs of magnesium. Researchers say that the form of magnesium in pumpkin seeds is highly bioavailable, meaning your body pulls it in quickly and uses it efficiently. And when this mineral starts circulating through your system, something remarkable happens. The electrical signals between your brain, nerves, and muscles begin to smooth out. Those chaotic impulses start to stabilize. The muscles finally begin to relax, and the cramping that once felt like a lightning bolt firing down your leg begins to fade. Magnesium doesn't just stop a cramp, it prevents the chain reaction that leads to the cramp in the first place. In clinical studies, people suffering from nighttime leg cramps saw dramatic improvements once magnesium deficiency was corrected. Their muscles didn't just relax more easily, they stopped going into those spontaneous, painful spasms that once stole their sleep. And it makes sense when you understand what your muscles go through every day. Your legs carry you through thousands of steps. Your calves, your quads, your hamstrings, your feet, they're constantly contracting, releasing, and stabilizing your body. This endless cycle drains magnesium from your cells like a battery losing charge. If you don't replace it, the system short circuits. That's why so many people wake up grabbing their legs at 2 or 3 a.m. That's why so many people feel that deep, aching tightness in their calves when they stand after sitting. That's why their legs twitch uncontrollably at night. Their muscles are begging silently for magnesium. And the reason pumpkin seeds make such a difference is because they don't just provide a small dose. They deliver a powerful surge, 700 milligrams in just 1 cup, more than enough to restore what your muscles have been starving for. And here's the part very few people understand. Magnesium doesn't work alone. Pumpkin seeds contain the perfect supporting minerals, potassium and zinc, that help regulate muscle contraction and nerve signaling. Potassium keeps the electrical rhythm of your muscles stable. Zinc helps repair irritated muscle tissue. And together they create an environment where cramps struggle to exist. Imagine millions of microscopic muscle fibers inside your legs, finally receiving the nutrients they need. Imagine those fibers no longer tightening uncontrollably, no longer firing off spasms, no longer seizing in the middle of the night. Imagine your legs feeling calm when you sleep, strong when you walk, stable when you climb stairs. That's the difference magnesium makes. People who've lived with leg cramps for years often think, this is just part of aging. But the science says otherwise. Many times, it's not age, it's deficiency. And when they begin eating foods rich in magnesium, like pumpkin seeds, they often feel a change within days. The muscles soften, the tension eases, the painful clenching episodes become fewer and weaker. And then, for many, they simply stop. There's something deeply emotional about restoring balance inside your body. Something powerful about waking up and realizing you didn't have a cramp at 3 a.m. Something liberating about feeling your legs no longer fighting you with every step. And all of this begins with giving your muscles the mineral they've been silently missing. Your legs don't want to cramp. They don't want to spasm. They don't want to lock up. They want to move. They want to carry you. They want to stay strong. They just need the right fuel to do it. And magnesium, especially the rich natural magnesium found in pumpkin seeds, is that fuel. When you nourish your muscles at the cellular level, you're not just stopping a cramp. You're restoring the intelligence of your nervous system. You're calming the electrical storms that trigger spasms. You're bringing peace to muscles that have lived in tension for far too long. And slowly, quietly, your legs begin to feel alive again, stronger, softer, more stable, more powerful. That is what magnesium does. That is what pumpkin seeds offer. And that is how one simple food can transform the way your muscles behave, one cramp at a time. There's a moment in every person's life when they realize that their muscles aren't responding the way they used to. The legs feel heavier when climbing a staircase. The body feels slower when standing up from a chair. Even simple movements, walking across a room, lifting a grocery bag, bending to pick something up, begin to feel like they drain more energy than they should. And while many people blame age or inactivity, the truth is far more surprising. Deep within every muscle cell in your body lies a microscopic power plant responsible for generating the energy that moves you. These tiny structures are called mitochondria, the engines of human movement, and they rely on one mineral more than almost any other to operate at full strength: magnesium. When scientists talk about ATP, the molecule your body uses for every movement, every contraction, every heartbeat, they explain one thing very clearly. ATP cannot be activated without magnesium. It doesn't matter how much ATP your body produces. Without magnesium, ATP is like a dead battery. No spark, no power, no movement. That means when your magnesium levels fall even slightly, the force inside your muscles begins to collapse. The legs feel weak, the body feels drained, and energy disappears long before the day is over. This is why researchers now call magnesium the energy mineral. And this is why a single food rich in magnesium like pumpkin seeds can have such a profound impact on muscle power and daily energy. Because when you restore magnesium, you restore the ability of your muscles to create force, to contract stronger, to perform better, to move without fatigue. Scientists have found that people with low magnesium experience faster muscle exhaustion during simple activities like walking or light exercise. Their muscles produce less ATP and burn out quicker. But when magnesium is replenished, the energy curve changes dramatically. The mitochondria become active again. The muscles begin generating stronger, cleaner power. And movements that once felt heavy suddenly feel lighter, smoother, more controlled. Imagine millions of tiny engines inside your muscle fibers starting to turn again. Imagine the energy you thought you lost suddenly surging back into your legs, your arms, your entire body. That is what happens when magnesium returns to optimal levels. But the story goes deeper, because magnesium doesn't just power your muscles, it protects them. When your muscles run low on ATP, they begin producing something scientists call reactive oxygen species, a form of stress that damages muscle tissue from within. This is why low magnesium is linked to muscle weakness, early fatigue, and poor recovery. But pumpkin seeds, rich not only in magnesium but also in antioxidants and healthy fats, help neutralize this internal stress and keep your muscles functioning the way nature intended. And the result feels almost like waking up from a long, slow decline you didn't even realize was happening. People who've lived with low magnesium for years often describe the same turning point. One day their legs simply feel more awake. Their steps feel lighter. They climb stairs without stopping halfway. Movements that once felt like effort now feel natural again. That shift begins at the cellular level, and the spark that ignites it is magnesium. But pumpkin seeds provide something even more remarkable. They deliver magnesium in combination with zinc, a mineral involved in repairing muscle fibers after daily wear. They deliver healthy omega-6 fats that reduce inflammation and improve circulation. They deliver iron, which transports oxygen into muscle tissue, giving your cells the fuel they need to work harder and recover faster. It's a nutritional combination that supports your legs from every angle. strength, energy, recovery, and endurance. And when these nutrients begin working together, the transformation can feel dramatic. Scientists have documented how magnesium helps regulate calcium inside muscle cells. Calcium triggers contraction. Magnesium triggers relaxation. Without balance, your muscles contract harder than they should and relax slower than they need to. That imbalance drains energy. It forces your muscles to work overtime just to perform basic actions. But once you restore magnesium, every contraction becomes smoother, every movement becomes more efficient, and your muscles begin using far less energy to do the same amount of work. This is why people often say their body suddenly feels more fluid after increasing magnesium intake. Their joints feel freer, their steps feel more natural, and they no longer feel that internal heaviness that once held them back. And it's not just physical. Low magnesium is strongly linked to low mental energy, poor focus, brain fatigue, a constant feeling of being worn out. When you restore magnesium, especially through whole foods like pumpkin seeds, your brain begins firing more efficiently. The nervous system becomes calmer and more coordinated, and the communication between your brain and your muscles sharpens. That means your movements become quicker, your balance improves, your reflexes strengthen, and your legs respond faster when you need them. You're not just gaining strength, you're gaining control, you're gaining stability, you're gaining power in every step you take, because magnesium doesn't simply fuel muscles, it transforms how your body uses energy. It gives you the ability to walk longer without tiring, to move with confidence, to feel your muscles working for you instead of against you. And the beauty of pumpkin seeds is that this transformation doesn't require complicated routines or supplements. It happens through a simple food, one that humans have eaten for thousands of years. A food that delivers magnesium in its natural, balanced form. A food your body recognizes immediately. Every handful of pumpkin seeds you eat sends magnesium directly into your bloodstream. Every serving helps refill the reserves your muscles have been draining for years. Every day of consistent intake builds stronger energy pathways inside your cells. The fatigue that once slowed you down begins to loosen its grip. The weakness you once accepted as normal aging begins to fade. And slowly, almost quietly, your muscles reclaim the power they were designed to have. This is what magnesium does. This is what pumpkin seeds unlock. And this is how your body rebuilds the energy that moves your life forward. One muscle fiber at a time. There's a kind of pain that settles deep inside the muscles. Pain that doesn't come from injury or overtraining, but from something quieter, something far more destructive, inflammation. It's the slow burning you feel in your thighs after walking a short distance, the dull ache in your calves when you wake up, the stiffness in your legs that seems to grow with every passing year. Most people think this is simply the body wearing out, but the truth is far more unsettling. Scientists now know that chronic low-grade muscle inflammation is one of the earliest signs that your muscles are struggling to repair themselves. It weakens the fibers that give your legs strength. It interrupts the healing that should happen while you sleep. It drains your energy long before your day even begins. And one mineral, magnesium, plays a critical role in shutting that inflammation down. When magnesium levels are low, something remarkable happens inside your muscle tissue. Your cells begin producing more inflammatory molecules, including cytokines that irritate the muscle lining. This irritation builds slowly, day after day, tightening the muscles, stiffening the joints, and draining the mobility that once felt effortless. In fact, researchers have found that magnesium deficiency can elevate C-reactive protein, one of the most important markers of inflammation in the entire body. When CRP rises, inflammation rises. And when inflammation rises, strength falls. But here's where the story turns. Pumpkin seeds, this simple food, carry a combination of nutrients that directly calm this inflammatory storm. The magnesium inside pumpkin seeds acts like a biological switch, turning off pro-inflammatory pathways that keep the muscles irritated. At the same time, the antioxidants inside the seeds, compounds like vitamin E, phenols, and plant sterols, begin neutralizing free radicals that damage muscle tissue from within. Imagine millions of tiny sparks inside your muscles, burning at a microscopic level, weakening the fibers that help you move. Antioxidants extinguish those sparks. Magnesium prevents them from reigniting, and the result is a dramatic reduction in muscle inflammation. But the science goes deeper. When inflammation builds inside the muscles, it limits blood flow, one of the most important factors for strength. Reduced blood flow means less oxygen delivery, less nutrient delivery, less removal of waste from stressed muscle cells. That combination creates what researchers call metabolic stress, a state where the muscle has to work harder just to function at a basic level. This is why people with inflamed muscle tissue often say, "My legs feel heavy," or "I feel like I'm dragging myself through the day." Their muscles are exhausted, not because they're weak, but because they're drowning in inflammation. But pumpkin seeds help reverse that. The magnesium inside them improves vascular relaxation, allowing blood vessels to open and deliver more oxygen-rich blood to your deepest muscle fibers. With better circulation, inflammation begins to fall. The muscles begin to breathe again, and that heavy, dragging feeling starts to lift. Many people don't realize that muscle inflammation is often silent. It doesn't always feel like pain. Sometimes it feels like stiffness. Sometimes it feels like weakness. Sometimes it feels like you simply don't have the energy you used to. But at the cellular level, inflammation is creating microscopic damage that accumulates with time. Magnesium helps repair that damage. It supports protein synthesis, the process that rebuilds muscle tissue after stress. It balances calcium inside the muscle cell, preventing the constant, low-level contraction that creates tension and irritation. And pumpkin seeds, with their natural blend of magnesium, omega-6 fatty acids, and antioxidants, give your muscles exactly what they need to recover. Picture this. Every time you take a handful of pumpkin seeds, you're sending anti-inflammatory compounds directly into the bloodstream. These compounds travel into the tissue layers of your legs, your hips, your back, wherever inflammation has settled, and begin repairing, restoring, rebuilding. The omega-6 fats inside pumpkin seeds, especially linoleic acid, work with magnesium to support the cell membranes that surround each muscle fiber. Stronger membranes mean better recovery. Better recovery means less inflammation. Less inflammation means more strength. This cycle grows stronger with every day of consistent intake. And something extraordinary happens when inflammation begins to fall. Your muscles start responding the way they used to. Movements feel smoother. Steps feel lighter. The soreness that once lingered disappears faster. You're not just reducing pain, you're restoring the internal environment your muscles need to perform. Scientists studying muscle aging have discovered that chronic inflammation is one of the primary reasons muscles lose power over time. It disrupts insulin sensitivity. It hijacks nutrient absorption. It interferes with the hormones that build and repair muscle tissue. But magnesium, especially from whole foods like pumpkin seeds, helps reverse all of these effects. And that's why so many people describe the same transformation. Their legs feel looser, their energy lasts longer, their muscles feel more alive, more responsive, more capable. This isn't magic. It's biology. It's chemistry. It's what happens when you finally give your muscles the minerals and antioxidants they've been silently begging for. And perhaps the most powerful part of this story is how simple the solution is. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need complicated protocols. You don't need anything artificial. You need a food that humans have relied on for centuries. A food that delivers magnesium, anti-inflammatory fats, and powerful antioxidants in a form your body immediately understands. A food that calms the fires of inflammation from the inside out. A food that restores the quiet strength your muscles once had. That food is pumpkin seeds. And when you bring down the inflammation inside your muscles, you're not just relieving discomfort. You're giving your body the chance to move like it was meant to. Strong, smooth, stable, and free.